I'd say it's time you begun.
But if I know you, I know what you'll do. You'll love me at once, the way you did once upon a dream. I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. I know you, that gleam in your eyes is so.
Hello, it's Halloween. It's 9 o'clock in the evening, and I guess I'm doing this at the last possible moment I can for Halloween because I'm lazy and pretty badly organised. I've got a treat for you. So, I read Mexican Gothic. I read it mostly today. I read the bulk of it today, and I absolutely loved it. I was really, really surprised at how much I enjoyed this. So I'm going to do a Halloween-themed review of it. I have my tea ready in my Snow White mug, which is pretty Halloweeny. I have made some effort to decorate my flat on a budget. Clearly on a budget by how see-through and cheap that looks. So yeah, I'm gonna do a fun style review, and I feel like a Gothic book deserves a Gothic reviewer.
Now begin thy magic spell.
Oh, oh my god, this wig. Oh, it looks like it's made out of recycled black bin bags. Oh.
Perfect disguise.
But oh my god, look at the fucking wings. Oh, this cheap wig. Oh. This'll do though. I'm feeling Morticia, Kim Kardashian. Severus Snape. Like if Snape had a slutty sister, I would be her. Avada Kedavra, whore! I'll call myself Slagatha Christie. Yeah, that'll be good. Slagatha. So yeah, I am now Slagatha Christie, your Gothic queen. Don't start with me.
I am a queen.
Right. Okay. Let's get into the book. I ordered this because I saw some videos online talking about it and I thought it sounded perfect for Halloween. This isn't the type of book I normally read. This looks a bit too YA-like for me. But I did actually really, really enjoy this. It's by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and this is not her first novel. She's written quite a few, I think. I was surprised at how much I adored this book. This is better than some of the books I've been reading for the Booker Prize this year, and that's saying a lot. I really, really devoured this book. I read it in 2 sittings. So I read 50 pages yesterday, and then I read the rest of it, which is like 302 pages today. It's set in the 50s. I'm guessing it's Mexico. go. What I loved about this book was how fun it was. So this book, it is an unapologetically Gothic novel, and I really, really loved it. I do love Gothic fiction. I read some early Gothic stuff like Castle of Otranto, I think it's Anne Radcliffe. I love the Brontes. I love contemporary Gothic stuff. What made this book so fun was how aware of itself it was as a Gothic novel. Naomi is like this 22-year-old fun-loving party girl, and she's expected to marry soon, but she's looking for suitors, so it feels a little bit Victorian. But I think because it's Mexican, I was like, maybe because she's like upper class and it's 50s, I'm guessing she would have still been pressured to marry younger. So I could accept that. Her Bezzy mate, her like cousin, is called Catalina. Catalina's fucked off and got married to some random guy out in the sticks somewhere. Then Naomi gets a letter from Catalina saying, I miss Naomi. I pray I'll see you again. You must come for me, Naomi. You have to save me. I cannot save myself as much as I wish to. I am bound. Threads like iron through my mind and my skin, and it's there in the walls. It does not release its hold on me, so I must ask you to spring me free. Cut it from me. Stop them now, for God's sake. Hurry, Catalina. So it opens with this really dramatic letter from Catalina. Naomi makes her way to in the sticks where Catalina's now married and living. And then it goes from there. The husband is called Virgil, and he lives in this old decaying house. His family used to own like a silver mine, and then the mine just went to shit. Catalina seemed happy. She seemed very carefree. And then she got married to Virgil in the middle of nowhere. When Naomi sees her, she is like, oh, fuck, you've gone to the dogs, haven't you, Catalina? Marino Garcia was always aware that you have read Gothic novels like Jane Eyre and The Wuthering Heights. There were loads of nods to it, so I really, really enjoyed those. Gothic fiction, to me, even though it deals with quite grim issues, there's always a sense of playfulness with Gothic fiction that I really, really love. And this book really was like the apex of that for me. This was just so refreshing. Let's go through the characters. So there was the husband called Virgil Doyle, who I imagine to look like Tom Felton. Draco Malfoy-ish, but probably what Tom Felton looks like now more. That's how I imagined Virgil. So Virgil is made out to be this kind of blonde stud. He has a kind of servant. One of the servants in the house is called Francis. And I imagine Francis to look like me normally. Listen to this description of Francis. Virgil was good looking. Francis was not. He had an almost non-existent upper lip. Eyebrows that arched a little too much. Heavy-lidded eyes. She liked him nevertheless. Yeah, I was like, that sounds a lot like me. Should I find that offensive? I don't know. Probably not. Naomi reminded me of a Jane Austen heroine in a Charlotte Bronte story. There was some feminist discussion because they are looking to marry, and so they are like looking to the men to provide. There is a lot about the power dynamics between men and women. It's more like tongue-in-cheek nods to the feminist discourse that has been prevalent through Victorian women's fiction and that kind of thing. Even though it's not Victorian literature, it is set in the 50s. I felt like there were really interesting themes and messages in the book. So Virgil Doyle, like his family own the mine, but the mine is like in disrepair and not used anymore. And there was some discussion on capitalism and exploitation of the lower classes and how the upper classes need them to survive. And Virgil Doyle's family is basically a kind of ancestry of white men, like rich white men. So the book also has some discourse on patriarchy, especially towards the end. It was just getting quite like fun with it. The pacing of the book from page 0 to page like 200, it was fairly consistent. It felt really level and well orchestrated. And then after page 200, it's honestly like Marina Garcia goes from gear 3 to gear 6 and the novel just escalates. You find out more about the house, and there were points where I was reading it and I was like, what? It was a riveting read. I think this would make a really good play to go and see, and I can imagine them making a really good Netflix series. I imagine it would be good for maybe older teenagers, 15 and up, and apart from that, all ages, all adults would enjoy this, I think. And I think if you like Sarah Waters, you would love this book. If you like Shirley Jackson, you would love this book. It kind of felt like what Northanger Abbey should have been more like, because Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen was so boring. So the house is decaying and disgusting, and there were loads of points where I was reading about the house and honestly wanted to gag with disgust. There was mould everywhere in this house. Not mould where it's absolutely derelict, not that bad, but just where the house needed several $1,000s of repair, and then it would have been in fine shape. Naomi would just be looking at the mould on the walls, and I was literally like, oh, that is so disgusting. The flat that I lived in before this, when I first moved in, that got mould, and I remember one Christmas Eve having to get a tea towel, cover my mouth, and spray a bleach mould remover thing on the walls and scrub the mould off with a sponge. It was disgusting. So when she was mentioning all the mould, I literally just wanted to be like, oh, get some bleach and scrub it off. Scrub it off, Naomi.
Disgusting!
But the book wasn't just disgusting. So what I liked about the book as well is how salacious it was. Gothic fiction isn't just normally about the grim side of life. It's about the grim side of the psyche just as much. So the book was very sexual and filthy. There were bits where Naomi started having dreams about Catalina's husband. And I was like, you're having sexual dreams about your best friend's husband? Like, you dirty bitch.
Dirty! Filth! That's not right.
Let me read you a little bit of it. Virgil's fingers grazed her hair, the slightest touch which sent a shiver down her body. A dark and delicious feeling coursing down her veins, like imbibing champagne much too quickly, like in her dreams. She thought of sinking her teeth into his shoulder and biting down. Hard. A ferocious pang of desire and hatred. Yeah, it was dramatic. Read this book, it was so good. So what are some drawbacks of the novel? At times, the dialogue didn't really feel like 50s dialogue. Sometimes it felt formal enough, but there were times when someone would refer to Naomi as a kid and things like that, and sometimes I just thought, that sounds a bit too modern. Is there anything else? Naomi did tend to dream a lot, and then the novel explains that as it goes on, so I could understand that. Were there any other drawbacks? What I enjoyed about this book was it had a little bit of discourse on recreational drug use. Having that and exploring that in terms of Gothic themes, that was interesting to me. And I would happily reread it next Halloween, to be honest. So yeah, have you read any books for Halloween? If you have, let me know, and let me know what is a Halloween book you would recommend. I do also want to read It by Stephen King as a kind of Halloween-y read, but it is over 1,000 pages, so I'm not cut out for that this month. In November, I do want to do some of non-fiction November, and I think next I'm going to read The Shadow King, so that before the Booker winner gets announced, I can do some videos on that. Thank you for watching my Halloween book review of Mexican Gothic. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you had a good Halloween. Alright, thank you. Bye.